Hello and welcome to another audio analysis. In today's video we'll be taking a look at the track A Crooked Melody by the Welsh rock band Holding Absence. This is the band's first single of 2023 following the release from last year's EP The Lost and the Longing, which they actually collaborated with band Alpha Wolf on. The 4-track EP did contain one solo performance by each of the bands as well as two collaborative efforts with one band taking the lead on each. The band are also looking to continue cementing their place within the Welsh rock scene, following on from bands such as Funeral for a Friend, who they've actually toured with and are almost seen as the successor to that group, with their really strong rock showing that they have been performing around the world, playing in North America, playing in Europe and the UK. So will this latest single hold a crooked sound or a soothing melody? Let's take a look at exactly how it sounds. So already we've got a couple of really interesting things to look at. First of all, I do love the very subtle use of the piano at the start of the track, just providing this soft underlayer to the actual rock elements, something they've included in many of their tracks. I mean, they made great use of it in songs such as Coffin, so it's always one of those instruments they love to just throw in, just to kind of really add this much nicer, softer tone to a track. And already we can see straight away this track is definitely discussing the idea of denial. How could the sum of someone's life be them believing their own lies? This idea that you tell yourself something that you know is not true, but you make yourself believe that it is. And this idea, I like that they've got this idea of the devil on your shoulder crying wolf. And the idea of crying wolf is this idea of telling lies and nobody believes it. So you're not believing in yourself. So I really like how they've built those lyrics into the track, and this idea, I've been lost alone inside my mind. There's only you fighting yourself with denial. It's not somebody kind of telling you, it's this internal war that is going on. And I really love the chorus, this idea of sing myself a crooked melody. A melody is something that's soft, it's soothing, it's sweet, and because it's crooked, it's almost like it's been corrupted. And it's this idea of singing yourself to sleep as well. I really like how a lot of this chorus is really pulling the idea together, this idea of going to bed every night, just kind of telling yourself something that's not actually true and making yourself believe it. So I really do like that. And I also like that we've got the changing in pace. This song still has that melodic sequence to it, but it's not heavily melodic because it keeps changing the pace. So I like that it's almost crooked in its nature with the styling of the instruments, which is really, really smart the way they've done that. The idea of setting your soul on fire. If I lie myself to sleep, you believe that you'll wake up the next day completely okay. If you try and just tell yourself that, try and make yourself believe, almost that idea of the placebo effect. And I really love how Lucas really does play around with these vocals. He really is a very strong vocalist and really pushing out his vocals. It's something he does in live performances as well. He's got a great range, and I imagine we'll be seeing that making great use of later on in the actual track, as something they do tend to do is have these softer bridges before delving straight upwards, trajecting upwards into these really higher energy sections of the track. So great to see where we'll see that a little bit further on. We get to see it a bit more playful throughout the chorus and also some of the verse, which is really nice to see. They're really copying the same style that really sets them out from many of the other rock bands. Okay, so there's one thing I want to touch on with the actual visuals on this track, and I saw it earlier with the female character and this gold inlay almost kind of makeup. We're seeing it now with the pottery, this idea of kintsugi, and it's a Japanese tradition where you kind of repair something that's been broken, but you inlay it with gold to hold it together. So I like how that ties in with the idea that we've got here, the idea that you are broken, and this gold is you telling yourself that you're going to be fixed, that everything's going to be okay, and you're just piecing yourself back together. And although sometimes eventually it can piece back together, there's often this idea of this denial is the thing that's holding you together rather than gold. So I really do like how they've done that with the visuals. It's very smart from the actual director to really build that in, that tradition with the actual track. And I also like how we're starting to see these levels start to drop as well. It's something that I did say that they do on most of their big tracks, and they've done it on songs such as Afterlife, they've done it on tracks such as Coffin, Like a Shadow, you name it, they've done it on most of the tracks they have released. They love to do it, to really drop the levels up towards the bridge and then raise them up again. And even some of these vocals that we have got, I know someday the jury will call, they will say I'm a fraud, an imposter, a liar. It's all these things of somebody that's often in denial. If you see the defense case or something like that, and someone that knows they're guilty, and they will be fraud, imposter, there'll be these different things, but they will keep telling themselves that they're innocent. So I love how more and more of these lyrics are tying in this idea of being in denial. It's really smart the way they've actually pieced this together. Okay, I really actually enjoyed that track. I really love the way that they kind of blended these two styles of slightly heavier rock in with this idea of this more melodic sound, this idea of this crooked melody built into the track, really fitting in with the title. So I did enjoy that. The way that the song had a strong pacing, but it wasn't one of these that was just pure melody all the way through. They incorporate some of those heavier rock sounds that we have seen on previous tracks, and it was a great blending of styles as well. Also, I love the idea of this song being about in denial, really talking about the idea of a jury, talking about the idea of different ways that people can be in denial with themselves, and even though they know deep down that what they're doing is wrong, they try and sing themselves to sleep every night. So a lot of the lyrics were really cleverly crafted for this song, and it's something that you expect to hear from most Holding Absence tracks. They've done it throughout most of their albums, their EPs. Every track they seem to write always has this really strong songwriting that they do put in, and the same instrumentally as well, really providing some strong drums and some strong guitar guitars, just really adding to that style that's being blended together. And if this proves to be the first single from an upcoming album, then I am very much looking forward to hearing more from the band. I love some of the previous work they've done on previous releases. It would be great to get another album from them. I know they're going to be touring in North America with The Plotting You over the next couple of months, so it might be a little while before we do get to hear anything else, but hopefully will result in an album sometime soon. So that will be everything for today's video, but please feel free to let me know your thoughts about this track in the comments section below. And if you've never heard of these guys before, check out the album The Greatest Mistake of My Life. It is a brilliant album. It was very well received and was almost critically acclaimed upon its release, so that's definitely an album worth checking out if you enjoy this kind of sound. And as always, if you want to see more content like this, then please do feel free to subscribe, and I will see you in the next Audio Analysis.